Have you enjoyed being on the school council?
Yes.
What have you liked about it?
It's like deciding like what's happening, like if we're asked, and like knowing what's going to be happening.
Okay. Yeah. So you like making decisions and
So
having that information.
You may want to be a governor.
Future governor's sitting right here then.
Yeah,
you
right.
see?
You guys might be sort of, because governors can be anybody, as we've discussed. They're just people with different, normal people with just different backgrounds. I'm the governor for premises and well-being, and so I sort of taken a close look at the development of the new part of the school and things like that. And that's because in my work life, I've always dealt with sort of premises, contract work, big machinery and things like that. So I've got that sort of background. So they think, well, it's a good idea. Let's get Mr. Giddens to have a wander around and have a look and see how things are going on that side of things. Because I've probably seen a bit more of that than Sandra have.
I don't know anything about building.
But then you've got some, sort of various bits and pieces as well in your lifetime over the years that make you good at, various other bits and pieces that I would know nothing about. So it's like a team thing.
It is a big team. We're all very good at different things, and we all bring that together. So somebody somewhere around the table will know the answer to that question. So together, we're very, very strong as a team. And it's just the same as if you play a team sport or when you've worked as a school council. Together, you're able to do some really good work, I'm sure. And it's always better to have a good, strong team around you. And that's what it is, really. Just a good, strong team of people that care about the school.
Were you anything to do with the building works?
Not physically. I didn't do any building, no. But we did know. We looked at the plans, and I have been up with Mrs. Collins. I put my hard hat on, and I've walked around. Mrs. Collins was very, very excited, and she's still very excited about the space. And I've looked around at the new classrooms and how lovely it is about there. And I know Mr. Giddens has been there a couple more times than I have. So yeah, as a governing body, we know what's happening, when it's happening, we know how much it costs, we know when it's meant to be ready, we know what we need to buy to make sure it's ready for the classes to go up there, we know what the teachers are saying they need so they can teach you when they're in there, and we go up and see. So I have been up once to look at the building work, and Mr. Giddens has been up a few times.
There's some really, really neat features that we'll be really, really good about.
They're lovely classrooms.
Yeah, it's just... this school's been here a very long time, especially the old part of the building, and things get improved as years goes on, because obviously things get old and they need improving. But this is a brand new, high-tech, brand new building. So there's some really, really neat features that I'm not going to tell you because it'd be much better for you to see them.
Yeah.
And there's still decisions to be made as whether that happens or whether we might have to do that instead of that. But there's some really... When it's done and when you guys see it, I'll make sure that I look out for you guys and I'll say, right, one of the neat features I wanted to tell you about that day was these, and if they've got those, you'll go, yeah, that's really clever.
Yeah, we've been in there.
You had a look around.
The one of the features.
Go on then. So you know more than I do. Come on, tell me.
The school council I've
Okay.
been in.
Yeah.
And I know like one of the features was pull out tables.
Right, so you know. That's great, that's all right then.
Mr. Giddens, one little piece of information.
That's just one thing I wanted to say, but I thought, I don't know whether I should tell you or not, but they are really neat. That's so clever, isn't it? And the fact that they're all gone away and you've got all the room and you've got all the floor space, so you can do whatever you like then, and you've got collages, drama, whatever. But the fact that they're all folded away and they just come out, and then you've got your chairs and your tables, it's brilliant. There's lots of good stuff.
That's a really good example of something that came to the governing body.
Yes, it is.
And we talked about. So Mrs. Collins came to one meeting and she
brought
said,
a brochure, didn't she?
"Look at these.
Yeah.
These can be put away, and then we can use the space. This is how much they cost." And then we decided that we think that's a brilliant idea because you can use the space, you can pull them out, put them away.
Yeah.
We looked at see how much money we have in the bank as a school. We said there is enough money for that. That's fine. We think you should spend it.
Yeah.
And we all agreed and voted. And then they got bought, then they got put in, then the school council went to have a look at them.
I remember going to the actual progress meeting on site up in the hive, and they brought up the subject about the folding tables that we discussed at the governor's meeting, and then the guys, the experts, if you like, that were actually developing the school and doing all the work and building the new extension, they would say, well, yes, we can do them, but we've got to remember we've got electric cables and we've got things in here, so we might have to move them here, and they discussed all of that, but thumbs up, we can do it. And it's good to see something from infancy right the way through to the finish, and you guys will benefit from it. And they are really good, because you've got the hall of every school, including Treleigh School, there's always a big pile of chairs, isn't there? So there's always a big pile of chairs, and a big pile of chairs is fine, but it's just taking up so much space, and they're in the way, and you won't have that problem up there, which would be really, really good.
And you'll get a whole year of enjoying it. 2 years, because you're in year 4 now, aren't you? So you'll get 2 whole years of enjoying that.
So, like, even though this will still be here, and where, like,
Yes.
we usually eat, like, in year 6 classrooms, or if it's the summer, we either eat on the field or on the
So
playground.
some things will stay the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, in the winter, one of the builders said that we might be able to eat in the hall, like on the tables.
Possibly. That's the kind of decision actually that we wouldn't make as a governing body, because the day-to-day running and making sure that the school is being run well, and all of those decisions would be made by Mrs. Collins and by the staff. So that would be a decision that they would make. But I'm sure that might be a possibility on a winter's day, but that would not be something we would decide, because we know that Mrs. Collins is an excellent head teacher, and she'll make the best possible decision for you at the time, and where's the best space for you to eat if weather was that bad. You guys have been on the school council, which is a bit similar really to what we do, but I've been thinking, because now I'm the chair of governors, and I've been thinking, do you think, and you can say anything you want, do you think as a school council you've had enough contact with the governors? Have you had any contact with the governors? Because you, as a school council, are the voice for all of the students. Yeah, so there's one of you, isn't there, from each year, I'm right, aren't I? And you get together and with Mr. Mitchell, and you can make decisions, can't you? And you have a small budget and all of those things. And I was wondering if you have any good ideas about how we could work with you better, how the school governors could work with the school council better.
Well, like, you could come to, like, every so often our meetings and, like, see what we discuss.
That would be an idea, we could do that.
Think of any.
Okay, but maybe that's something to think about.
Maybe
Because
we
you've been
could
doing
have
it for a year.
maybe we could have a school council line in a board of governors meeting.
Yeah, so anything you want
So
us
you
to
bring up.
discuss, we will discuss, and then one of us will come back and tell you, yes, we mentioned that you said you think that this needs to happen in the library, and then we will come back and say, well, we've said that to the school, to the governors, and the governors agree with you, so let's talk about how we want to do that. So maybe that would be something we could do. Okay, so I think it would be great if you could be involved, if the school council could be more involved in the how happy are our pupils. Because I think it should be the pupils asking those questions, not the student, not the staff. And so I think that could be something the school council could work together to find out, how do we find out from everyone going to Treleigh how they feel about coming to Treleigh, and all the good things, how it makes them feel about themselves inside, and the things that they might like more of or less of. And I think the school council would be perfect to do that, and to then present it to the governing body if
So
they want to.
It would be like interviewing the students.
You would decide. So you might sit down in your meeting with Mr. Mitchell, and you might think, right, we've got, how many students have we got, and we want to ask them, let's come up with 10 good questions that we think everyone could ask, or it might be 10 questions for years 4, 5 and 6, because their reading and their understanding might be better, and 10 other questions. Okay, what's the easiest way? A lot of time, wouldn't it, to sit with every single student and ask 10 questions? Or is it that the school council go into the class and give them out and do it 10 minutes in the class and then take them all back. Then you all get together and you look and you say, oh, everyone's happy with their teacher, or everyone feels happy coming in the morning. Yes, 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 yes. Does everyone feel happy with the amount of sport they do? And maybe there might be some no's. And then you would come to us and say, well, generally everyone's very happy at Treleigh, but some people feel they don't get enough sport. And then our job would be to listen to what you're telling us and for us to try to make some changes and then come back to you so you can go back to everyone and say, thank you very much, and this is what's going to happen. And that could be a job that the school council always does. What do you think? Does that sound like something that would be interesting to do?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you think it's important that people ask you how you feel?
Mm.
Yeah? And you give
To
ideas?
get to know the different students and what they think about school.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think it's easier to tell another pupil than it is to sometimes tell your teacher? Or not? Do you think you can be more honest, or do you think it doesn't matter?
Sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's a very diplomatic response. Yes, I agree. Sometimes it's nice not to have not to just be able to say what you think. Sometimes it's nice to have someone